I am here at the Blackmagic stand with Craig, who is very graciously going to talk me through their new surprise 12K Pyxis.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. We have Pyxis 12K, new for this year at NAB. If everyone's...
Can I just stop you there? New for this year at NAB. How does Blackmagic manage to keep surprising people with their camera releases like this? It's not normal.
Oh no, look, we've got some incredible guys that are in charge of our product teams, industrial design and engineering, and it surprises us. So we they're always a step ahead of us when we get to come out and see the products, and they just go, we listen to a lot of customer feedback, we look at how we can improve on productions, technologies, and we're always driven into how can we make the most affordable, most accessible products as possible and build technologies that are going to empower creatives, whether that's, guys shooting their first film, YouTube channels for the first time, all the way through to Hollywood and high-end production. We just love designing the best we can and working on the best products we can find.
You seem to be doing a great job of it. And with the Pyxis 12K, could you give us some of the headline features? Why should people be excited about shooting on this?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, this is an example of what is our ethos around camera technologies. We're relatively new making cameras. We've been doing this for about 12 years. And the people that have been with us on that journey will have seen how our cameras have evolved over those years. And we've always strived to put the best technologies we can in building them, principally around how we can draw out raw technologies, have high dynamic range, high resolution, and what we can take across to DaVinci Resolve. The Pyxis 12K is a really great example. We came out last year, introduced the URSA Cine with the 12K sensor and the 17K variant, and that was built around a new bleeding edge RGB sensor technology, which has been fantastic to work with over the past 12 months. Our intention then was to how can we get this technology that can cost $30,000 on the 65mm product, would be around $10,000 on the 12K, into something in a more affordable package and introduce it to the Pyxis market, where this is the most lightweight, robust, riggable product that we know we can build in a digital film market space and give that 12K technology or the RGB technology to as many filmmakers as we can.
Absolutely, and I suppose as well as being accessible to everyone now at that price point, it's also a fantastic B camera for productions that are shooting on 12K. If they need to go out and shoot some scenics or something like that, hey, you've got a small body, you've got a gimbal rig, you've got something to go on a drone much more easily.
Yeah, three things for us. We've always been proud that with our color science and our technologies in DaVinci Resolve, you could be shooting with another camera technology. It could be an Arri, it could be a Sony, it could be a Red, it could be Canon. Those guys make fantastic cameras. You could choose to use Blackmagic alongside them. Our color science and DaVinci Resolve will allow you to match us to their look if that's what you need. You could take the 12K Pyxis and put it alongside the URSA Cine 12K. Now you're shooting on exactly the same sensor technology. So rather than maybe thinking about, well, if I want to shoot 2 or 3 cameras, I can't afford that many URSA Cines, you could have a principal A camera and then use our Pyxis 12K as your backup. Or then it could be your primary camera. Again, based on budgets, knowing what the affordability of these products are. If this is your entry level into cinema filmmaking, taking that RGB technology, taking what we do at the high end, where we're working with leading production companies, Hollywood films, high-end television, with our technologies in the 12K sensor, with the DaVinci Resolve, and embedding that now into a camera which is around $6,000 is revolutionary for us. I mean, we were speaking 2 or 3 years ago when we first came back to NAB after the COVID pandemic about where was we going to go next with our cameras, and would we enter the full frame and then the large frame technologies, and to have this camera now so quickly is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. I've got a couple of questions, try not to make it too Paxman,
Yeah.
So with this sensor in this camera body, there have to be some concessions to the architecture within there and the physical size of the body. What are the limitations compared to the full-size 12K?
You're going to see that impacting in 2 areas, and it is natural that the camera is smaller, so the processing, the mainboard capabilities and the image pipelining inside of the Pyxis camera is going to have a headroom which is lower than the URSA Cine 12K. Firstly, you'll see that probably in frame rates. We can't go as high or as fast that's really due to thermals and the way that we're controlling the sensor in the smaller camera body. But that said, open gate 12K, we can still shoot at up to 40 frames a second. The camera will shoot in 4K and 8K modes. So if you're at 2.4 to 1 in those resolutions, you can shoot at 112 frames a second, which is an incredible usable frame speed anyway. You also see probably in the readout speeds. So same sensor, different camera, the readout speeds are going to be marginally slower. In some instances, they may up to be sort of twice as slow. As an example, 2.4 to 1 8K in the URSA Cine is one of our fastest readout speeds at around 5 milliseconds, and it's going to be around 10 milliseconds on the Pyxis 12K. Still very, very usable, still fast, but it's not going to be the same performance level as the larger camera, just naturally due to the hardware differences.
Absolutely, and there have to be those compromises to be able to fit everything into a smaller package, and I think that's expected. So with something like readout speeds and frame rates, for example, we've obviously got a good selection of things in that camera, and I think it's easy to get caught up in those side of the specs. But for me, the most exciting thing about shooting on the 12K, and I've shot on the original 12K, that camera allowed you to have the full gate of the camera at any of those resolutions stepping down, which is something that people seem to forget almost, that you can actually get lower data rates because you're using lower resolutions and also faster readout speeds, and you don't have to crop at all.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things I think is a key to our technologies. We talk about RGB, and we use that in the terminology to describe the sensor. So the CFA is different to, say, a Bayer pattern. Our color fidelity and reproduction is therefore higher for what we feel. But underneath that, and I think this is a misconception sometimes with the large or super resolution cameras, people might be thinking, well, I don't need a 12K camera. And they're absolutely right. If you don't need a 12K camera, then you don't need a 12K camera. But this is a phenomenal 4K camera. And what we're actually doing, which is different to other cameras that might be as small or lightweight as this, is we're using the full width of the sensor. So through the construction of the sensor, the way our CFA works, the way we read out that data, we can do things that other camera systems cannot. So when you drop to 4K mode, you want to shoot in DCI 4K, we do not window or crop. We use the full width of the sensor, we're reading out that 12K, then we're processing it and doing some resolution scaling in the camera. Your ultimate recorded output will be 4K, but your performance, your sensor will be 12K.
Fantastic. And just a couple of things to touch on. Accessories-wise, we've seen that USB-C port at the front can be used with your screen, your EVF, which is mounted on here at the moment, but we've also got a new option with a top handle coming, haven't we?
Yeah, so 2 new accessories. So again, Pyxis we always described as our most customizable and riggable camera. It's a box you want to add things to, and any operator will have their preference of how they want to use it. The 2 new accessories, we have a Pro handle, which is very similar to the old style camcorders, which people out there will remember using, right?
Absolutely. I felt very nostalgic looking at that photo. It's like, yeah, that is the 90s.
Yeah, and we loved it. So if you're shooting and looking through the camera, so to speak, you've got a high quality OLED HD resolution screen on the back, tally light on the front for the camera talent with a directional mic as well, and a push stop start to record. And then next to that we have a Pro Grip, so it matches to it. Again, nice strap, comfortable feel, ergonomic, and these will interconnect into the USB-C. The difference, say, with the EVF and the monitor is you can only connect one or the other currently, but with the new accessories, they will loop through. So we can combine them, put them together, and you get this kind of really useful handheld camcorder style approach to how you could use Pyxis if that's your run and gun choice.
Absolutely, and again, thoroughly unexpected. I did not think that was what we would see, but there it is. And it's interesting, with the USB-C days chaining through, that was something I didn't think was necessarily going to be possible, because obviously there have been questions about if you have an EVF setup on here, you can't use the
monitor.
Yeah, at the same time. So will that be something which maybe starts to feed through to other accessories in the future, or too early to say?
I think it's always possible. Look, we're always open to the feedback. We make the product, we don't get to go and use it in anger as much as everybody else does. So we're really keen to feedback and understand it, and knowing if somebody wanted to use the monitor, the side monitor and the EVF at the same time on a Pyxis, it could be something that's looked at in the future.
Craig, thank you very much for taking me through all the features and functions of the Pyxis 12K. We're going to walk the floor, look at some more things at NAB 2025, but for now, thank you very much.